Hi there, it's Lori from Lollipop Paper and Ink. Thanks so much for joining me. Today I have a little sneak peek at some early release products that demonstrators were able to pre-purchase this month, but will be available to all customers on November 3rd. These products will be in the January to June mini catalog, so that's what makes this a sneak peek into an early release. So it's not really, it won't be in the actual catalog, you won't see it in the actual catalog until January. So let me just show you, this is the write-up because like I said, it's not in any catalog that I can show you, but this is the bundle. It's called the Quite Curvy bundle. And it's discounted $41.25 for this stamp set and the Quite Curvy stamp set and the Curvy dies. And I'll show you up close how beautiful and some tips and tricks to get these dies to do what you want them to do. Also the stamps. So this is the bundle that you can purchase, just the bundle. Or if you just want the stamp set, you can purchase this stamp set. It's called the Curvy Christmas stamp set. So that's what's so great about this is it's not just for Christmas. You can use it, and these dies will go with this stamp set or this stamp set all year long. And this also is the Christmas, it's called Classic Christmas Designer Series paper. So if you wanted to purchase those separately, you can. You can't purchase this separately. This is just the bundle for right now for the early release. If you wanted the stamp set, the dies, the stamp set, and the paper, that's all here in sort of a variety. It's called a variety bundle, which is like a mini suite. That's what I call it. And that's $70.50, and you get everything here, which is what I will show you. What we will be working on. Okay, so let me get that out of the way. These are the stamp sets. This is the Curvy, Quite Curvy, and this is the Curvy Christmas. And I try to use a little bit of both for the projects that I'm going to share with you today. And then stay with me because I do have a bunch that I just kept working with it even after I got my 4 that I wanted to share with you, because it is such a fun set. Just a little heads up, it takes a little bit of a learning curve to get these dies to crop exactly what you want them to crop. I mean, this is no big deal. This crops out the beautiful leaf images here, and this small one here crops out the little floral image, and it's these here, this one mostly that we're going to be working with, so I can show you the best way to get the effect that you want. So these are the two stamp sets. This is the these are the dies, and let me show you this paper. It's Christmas colors, but it's Sahara Sand and Cherry Cobbler and Shaded Spruce. But you can use them really all year. I mean, these would be really nice masculine cards that you don't have to use the leafy or the star images, or but so you can definitely use them all year round. It's just one of those papers that has a lot of use to it. It's just though it is Christmas colors, except for the Sahara Sand, which is my favorite, and that can definitely be used all year round. Easy. Okay, so that's a look at what you get if you were going to get the whole package. So let's get started. We're going to do this card here first. This was kind of more of the simple ones, and we're just going to do a simple edge like that, a little curvy edge to our design. So I want to show you how I did that. Now I saved my piece of this is the this I used the Plaid Tidings, yeah, that's what it's called, Plaid Tidings DSP, and I wanted to show you how I did this. So this is really when you crop out with this die, there's just one thing to remember, and that's this little edge here is your cutting piece. It's the cutting edge of it. So if I wanted to have the little dots in my design, I would make sure that I cut it with this on top so that the cut piece would be on top and I would get my designs. So let's say for this here, I didn't want the dots. So what I would do is I would make sure that my cutting edge is on the bottom. Whoops. So this is my cutting edge. So I would make sure it was like this. So, and that's how I got these two pieces. So this is just a piece of 6x6 DSP, and this is what I wanted. So this is what I cut out. This is what I got. So I could definitely, I wanted to save it to show you, but you could definitely use this for another project and just use the dies. But we are going to use this paper, and I'll show you, I'll give you a little trick. I'm going to bring in my emboss machine. And what I do here, just a little trick is, and this works great with this, with these dies. So I have my number 1 plate, my number 2 plate, and I'm not using the magnetic plate. There's been a few issues with it, and it curls, and Stampin' Up! Is aware, and they are working on it. So, and this works fine just using these plates. There's really, it's an accessory. You really don't even have to have it. So, okay, so I want to use this, but now I want to sort of have maybe 2 inches here of space so I can have my little curvy thing going that way. So what I'm going to do, and I want to put it in this way, because it's always better to put your dies in vertical, so it's going through the machine that way. And so the only thing I have to be careful of, now what I did here is I put a little strip of dryer sheet, and that will help pick up, and I'll show you all these tiny little pieces that are going to get cropped out. All right, so I'm just going to place this on here over my dryer sheet, and I want about, I don't know, 2 inches, but it's not that important. I can always work my design around it. Okay, so what I'm making sure here is I don't want the dots. So that's why my edge, my cutting edge, is going on the bottom. So the dots will be up on top again. And you can angle this however severe you want your little slopes and curvies to be. So let's see, I think that's good enough. And if it bounces around, you just put some washi tape on there. Make sure I'm on my dryer sheet, and I'm going to send this through. Okay. Now, watch this. This is the piece that I want, and I'm just going to tear. That's going to get trimmed off anyway. Okay, this is the piece that I want. No holes, no dots. Now I'm going to take this off, and can you see that it's pulling those dots right here, and they end up right here instead of you having to poke them all out. And it's like, I don't know, 95–99% effective, because it just works every time. And it also keeps this pretty clean, your little die for next time. So I just see 2. So really what I do, I could use the brush, but I just run my cute little tool here, and I just run that right through, and whatever was left, which was only 2 little dots, pops right out. Okay, so that's it, and I'll reuse this dryer sheet for our next project. And if I want to, now I have 2 extra sheets that I can use for 2 extra projects. All right, let's get this out of the way, and we can put some design to our card. Okay, so I have my regular, we're going to use that again, so I'm going to keep that right there. I have my regular 5.5 by 8.5 cropped at 4 1/4, and I'm going to just use my bone folder. Every single time I use my bone folder because I like a nice, crisp, and even crease to my cards. Okay, so now we're just going to do a little stamping. But before I do my stamping now, I'm going to stamp on this paper here. I don't like stamping right onto the card base. I usually like to have another layer over it. So this is going to go on here. That's going to go on my card base. So what I want to do now is just take this and get an idea of where I'm placing everything. And I'm going to place this here, and I'm going to give this a little trim. I like a little bit of white around it, but I think I'm going to trim off just a little bit of this. And then we're also going to take off, well, let's see, we want this to be, let's see, I have my, where's my grid paper? Oh, right here. All right. So this, and I'll have all the dimensions and measurements and everything. That's just 5. So I will have this on my blog. It might not be today or tomorrow, but by midweek I should have it. So all right, so let's just take off. Let's just take off an inch here. Well, it doesn't really matter what we're gonna be doing. I'm just gonna take off and hold that down straight. Now, but I do think I want to trim this just a little high. Okay, so yeah, I did say I wanted to make it at 2, so it's around 2. So this is just a little tricky to hold this in because it's not straight, but I can do it. Okay, so all right, so now I have this here. This is going to go right on top, and you can either make it right to the bottom. I kind of like it up a little bit. And the reason I'm fussing with this now is because I want to know where to put my Curvy stamp set, because I want it to go in the same direction at the same angle. So I'm going to use the trees. These are adorable little looks like hand-drawn trees. And this is a really long stamp, so I think I'm going to use my really big one. Or if I had it set up, I would just use my Stamparatus. Okay, so first, before I put it on my block though, I want to see where I'm going to place it here. Because this is photopolymer, you can kind of maneuver it wherever you want. So I'm going to place it here, and I'm just going to give it a little tap so that it stays where I want it. So then I can pick it up with the block, and let me see if that's going to work. Okay, perfect. All right, so now I can pick it up, and now I know it's at the right angle for this card. Oh, come on. No, it's stuck here. All right, so I'm going to use my Memento Black. And since the block is so large, and since the stamp set is so large, I'm going to turn it upside down. Now, I usually don't make a mess like that, so I'm going to just wipe that off because I don't want that to transfer. If I was using the Stamparatus, I wouldn't have to worry about it. But just for now. Okay, so now I know I'm going to place this back here, so I still know I have the angle, but now I want to make sure that I'm at the right point. And we'll just give that a good press all the way around. I'm using my silicone mat. I really should be using my piercing mat because that has more give to it, especially with the photopolymer. Okay, that looks pretty good. Let's get rid of this. And I don't really want to mess up my sheet here, so okay, we'll keep that for later. Okay, so that's it. That we can now put this on here and not have to worry about it. Now I can use this. Okay, I don't need that. Just regular Stampin' Seal will do the trick. This is really sticky stuff. You don't have to do a lot of it. And I can put that on here. Now you could just leave it black, or I think I'm going to use my blends markers to just, come on, give me a little leeway there. Okay, and then this is going to go on here. So before I do that, let me just do a little bit of, there's these cute little stars in here, and what I did with this one, they're so tiny, you don't want to lose them. But what I do is I just put them on one block so that I don't have to worry about it. It saves me time. I don't have to do it twice, and I have less of a chance of losing these babies. Okay, so that's all we have to do is just do a little random star stamping here. And we are good with that. That was Mango Melody ink. Okay, now let's just do a little, I'm going to bring out my, this is Pretty Peacock. So where do I have my Pretty Peacock? I'm just going to do my sentiment, very simple, Merry Christmas sentiment, which is here. And I'll show you how I curved it a little bit. I don't know what I did with all my blocks. So again, because this is photopolymer, we can play with it a little bit. So all I did was just put it on my block, but I wanted it a little bit curvy since everything else was curvy. Oh, come on. It doesn't have as much give as the other ones because the other ones are longer. Oh, that's not the right side, Lori, that's why. Okay, there we go. So let me just give this a little ink, and since I'm cropping it with the circle punch, that's why I wanted it a little bit. You probably could have gotten a little bit more out of that. So my punches, I'm just using the 1.5 inch punch for the sentiment and the 1 3/4 inch for the second layer. Okay, so we're going to just put this on here, and I'm going to pop those up with some dimensionals, but let's just get our layers on. Okay, and this goes right here, and this was so simple, right? It just takes just a little bit of time to figure out, and believe me, it took me a few tries to get the actual direction of the curve that I wanted with or without the dots. So just take your time, give it a few practice runs before you actually are working on your finished project. And we're going to go into with the other ones, we'll go into a little bit more of the different dyes that we have to use, because there are a few that are really nice. And actually, I think I put a few stars. So let me put a few stars on here. Oh, I messed up. That's because I put my dimensionals on there first. That was silly. Let's see. All right. Good enough. Okay, and then I would just take some of my blends markers in the Pretty Peacock and just give it a little bit of color up here. I'm not really blending anything. I'm just adding a little color to the black. And white spots are fine. We just want to add some color. Okay, and there we go. See how that's curving a little bit? I could have got that side. I should have gotten that side to curve a little bit more. Okay, that was our first project. I did add some glitter pieces to this just to make it pop a little bit, but you get the idea. So that's our first card project. Okay, so we're going to start off with our second project, which uses two Curvies. One I'm going to use, and I still see I have some dots in here. Oh, the dimensional is behind it. Okay, I got to get rid of those. So I have two Curvy panels. One is with the dots and one is without. So I just need to be careful, again, of just which side I'm going to put on there. So this is just a piece of Whisper White. It's 4 3/8, I believe, by 2 inches. It doesn't really matter how wide it is because you can place it as far up as you want on there. So I'm using still my same dryer sheet, and I'm going to put, now I have to be careful. I want to make sure that the, get rid of that guy. I want to make sure that my cutting blade, my edge here, is on top. So I'm going to place this down just like that. And where's my plate? Here it is. Okay. And since these are a little long and thin, they do tend to bend a little bit, but if you're careful, you just get it to go down. If not, washi tape is always on my handle here. I always keep it right here just in case. All right, so let's see how this worked again. So this looks pretty clean. I'm picking up my dotted piece, and you can see all the dots come out there. This is nice and clean and simple. Perfect. Okay, now this is scrap. I can't use this time because I want my curve to go up again. So what we're going to do is do it again. This time I have my edge will be my edge will be below the dots because I don't want to see the dots this time. And I'm just going to do that again, put that right in there. Okay, whoops. All right, and we'll remove this, and now I have my nice curvy second seam there. So, and like if I wanted to, I could move this down here. So we'll see where it lays. But again, I don't want to do my stamping until I know what angle everything is at. And here's another cool piece that I could save and use for something else. Okay, so let's get some layering done here. And for this project, this now is with the DSP that comes in with this early release. So here I'm just going to layer up some things, and this for this one, this is just 2 of the different samples of what is in that DSP pack. The cherry cobbler, I do love this little grid design, but so I thought for this one though I would use the 2 dots, little snowflakes, but just use the coordinating colors. So let's get this on here. I'm just, oh, all right. Just give it a little help sometimes on the roll. Okay, and I'm just popping this up on top of just a little bit of a white layer. Okay, and this is going to go up on top here. But let's make sure we have our layers where we want them first. So if I put this here, because I want to have space to do my, this I might bring all the way to the bottom. since it is supposed to look like snow. And then this one I can do just like that. If I wanted, or if I wanted to bring it down a little bit, I could do that. The matting won't be as direct, but I just like the idea that there is a double curve there. So we can put this on here. Oh my goodness. I am out of my seal. I'll have to get more from my storage cabinet. So I'm using the Super Seal, Stamp and Seal Plus, which is very strong. So you don't need a lot at all there. All right, now I want this to go right onto my DSP layer, not the outer white layer. So we make sure that none of that is showing. And I have a little bit of adhesive there. All right, so now I'm going to put this one, and I'm going to put this on top, but I'm going to put this on with dimensionals. Before I do that, just in case, so I don't mess that up, I'm going to put my sentiment on now that I can see the actual curve that I want to put that on. And this is our second Christmas card from the Christmas Curvy, but I will, see if this is the right one. My next two cards will be with the regular non-Christmas, just the regular quite curvy stamp set. Okay, so again, I'm going to lay this here because I can move it around a little bit. And I want it to go up and down. And you could do this again. You could do this on, this is just water. You can do this on your Stamparatus. And this way, if it's not on perfect or it doesn't get a perfect image, then you can just redo it. All right, so I'm just going to put that on here so I can pick it up and I know that it's good. So this I'm using Cherry Cobbler. That's okay. And I'm just going to follow the line. Perfect. All right, get this out of the way. And now we can put this on here. Let's finish our other layering first. So now, oh, I also want to stamp this side here. So I want to be able to do my stars, which is another really cool image. And it just gives you so much control over the, I think I'm going to use my big boy again for this one. Not that I have to, but it'll just make it a little easier. So this I want to go up on top. And again, I want it to be just, actually I just want it to be on the DSP. So I probably shouldn't have mounted that already, but it's all right. You get the idea. So what I'm going to try to do is not put any ink over here. So this is kind of where it ended, just in case. And that's the problem when you use blocks that are too big. That's why I really should have used the Stamparatus for this, but it is hard to do it without making a mess. But lesson learned, next time. All right, so I'm just going to stamp my stars here, right over it. And if I don't get it all the way, that's fine too. Yep, pretty good. Okay, so now we can start mounting these onto here. Put this guy here. I like the way I like the way it looks where it's the dots, but it's the two different colors. I think that, especially with the stars, love it. Okay, so let's put this on here before we start using our dimensionals. Okay, so it's dimensional time. So I think what I'll do here is, well, I could use one of my foam sheets, and I love these. So where's my image here? So I really just want, instead of using a bunch of dimensionals, I would just, and actually before I do that, let me put some stars on that baby because that messed up before. And you can just make it as big or as small as you want. That's the beauty of this. And if you had to add an extra dimensional, you could do that too. Okay, so let me get my stars back out again. We'll go back to the what did I use there? I thought I used Sahara sand, but looks like it was the gray granite, which is fine. Okay, let's put some stars there. Okay, done. Now I can put my little foam piece on here. And I think I will put another little piece on the corner there. What do I do with my scissors? Just to make sure that it pops up nice and evenly. And I can put this right to the bottom. There we go. All right, I think I just added a few little red rhinestones, and we will call it a day. Oops. This is where we cover up all our mistakes. And let's see, where else when I put it? I think up here. Okay, number 2, second Christmas project out of the Curvy Christmas set, and that is done. Okay, so for our third project, I'm moving into the Quite Curvy stamp set, which is not Christmas, or adorable little birds and sentiments for just about every occasion. So I wanted to show you how you can, this is our card, I wanted to show you how we can use one sheet of DSP or cardstock, whatever you're using, and use both pieces in your in the one project. So what I did here was I just took what my basic layer would be and I shortened it. So it's still whatever this would be, 4 1/4, and normally it would be 4 1/4. But this time I'm doing it this way. I'm just making it a little shorter because we want to leave space for our sentiment to go on the inside. So, and I'll have all the measurements on the blog within the next few days, by Wednesday, hopefully. Okay, so I'm going to show you how we're going to use this one piece of DSP. I have a fresh dryer sheet there. I don't really need it. It's okay. But I still could have used the other one, but it was getting a little ratty. So what I want to do here is make sure that my bottom piece, which is going to be larger than the top piece, but I want my bottom piece to not have the dots, and I want the top piece to have the dots. So I will make sure that the cutting edge then is on the bottom so that the top piece will have the dots. Okay, so here's that cutting edge right there. So I'm going to put that on the bottom, and I'm just going to put this right in here, right on top of mine. And I do want it to be a little bit higher up because, like I said, I want this piece, the top piece, to be a little bit smaller than the bottom piece. But you can always move them around when you actually have have everything ready to be layered on. Okay, let me just second check, make sure I put that on the right way. Yep. All right, so the cutting edge is on the bottom. Oh boy, come on. Give it a little bit of space up there. And we have enough. You can make it as wide as you want. Ooh, banging everything here. And let's take that die off. And again, you can see all those little dots. My DSP is clear and my bottom piece is clear. And you might have a few stragglers in here, but I don't see, I see one, two, that's it. So easy peasy to get rid of that. Okay, let's get this out of the way now. And again, we're going to just size everything up first before we actually do any gluing, because we want to make sure, we want to know where we're putting our sentiment. So again, I made this a little bit shorter. It's 5 1/4, so that I like to see a little edge, like I said before on that other card. I just like it to see a little bit of color. And then this one will go here. And then you can just see how they both came together perfectly like that. All right, so I know that that's where this is going to stay. I could put a little adhesive on here. I replaced my stamp and seal with a refill. So I'm just going to put this bottom one on just so I have a, I know where I want to put this. Because again, this photopolymer, and these already have a curve in them, but I want to make sure the curve is going the right way. So I'm going to have that there. And I'm just going to put that there. This doesn't even need a little zhuzhing because it's curved perfectly for that. Okay, so I know that that's where it's going to stay. I'm just using my Memento black. And let's pop this up here so I do get a good image. And I know that that's I keep forgetting my Memento black is new and it's so juicy. I have to really kind of watch it. All right, and I'm just going to put that there. And then I can put this baby right on top there. This was so simple. And it's good to know that you can make one die cut and have both pieces totally ready for you and set for the perfect design. All right, so I'm just making sure I have about the same border that I have on the bottom there. Let me give it a little bit more here. Okay, and that is pretty much it for this one. I die cut, I stamped this leafy image here in just the Memento black, and then I used my blends markers and just colored in those beautiful leaves. All right, so let's put this on my base, which is here. And you can see how it's getting easier, right? It's even getting easier to explain. Come on. So the beginning of the video was much longer than I needed it to be, but I wanted to make sure you understood all the different ways that you can use it. This is giving me a hard time now. Okay, come on. I don't really... All right, good enough. All right, so this is just going to go right on top, and we are just ready for embellishing. Put that on there. I'm going to use some dimensionals for this guy and just make sure that he's got pretty good surface contact, but that it's even all the way so that it's not going to be lower on one side. And this is beautiful too. It just goes right into those curves. And you can place it wherever your curve is. If I had started my die over a little bit more, then maybe I would have just used a half. But for right now, this is perfect. Okay. And I just gave it a little bit of bling with, these are the holiday rhinestones, I believe. Came from the holiday rhinestone pack. And just a little bit of pop of color. But you can see this is, even with the curviness, it's not really overly floral or, let's see, I think I'll put this over here. So that's it. This would be great for even a teenager or a masculine card. Very subtle, but very just a little added touch with those dies. Okay, I have one more, and then we will be done with our 4 projects. But then I have a few more to show you afterwards that I just kept going because I just was really enjoying myself doing this, using the set. All right, hold on. This is our 3rd project, 4th project coming up. Okay, so for our 4th card, I wanted to use a different die. We're going to be using this little one here, which reminds me of just a little simple floral image. But I wanted to explain that, what we used is this I used for the last card for the outline of that leaf image, the long branch leaf image. This one here is, it has a beautiful embossing images in the back that will emboss the area. And then you'll see that these little tiny leaves have the cutting edges to it. So this will, if you do this, it's a little surprising, but really you're going to get a bunch of little tiny leaves when you emboss that. I mean, yeah, when you die cut it. And then these little flourishing things will be actually just embossed. So, I mean, I didn't have time to do that, but I would imagine that you would just, it would look adorable if you would just pop these leaves back on with a little mini dimensional or something like that, and that would make it look really pretty. Okay, so, and these are the little birds. There's 3 bird images in the stamp set here, the Quite Curvy, and this crops out all 3 of them. And this little ivy, this little leaf branch image is really a nice, simple little image to crop. So let's use this one for our last project. And I want to, this is our card, the project that we're going to be doing. So again, it's got, it has the cutting edge here. So you would just need to think before you embossed it, before you die cut it, where you want the cut image to be. So in this case, I'm layering it on top of a layer where I already embossed this with the Scripty embossing 3D embossing folder, and so I wanted it to just be very simple and just lay right on there. So this is the same width as the Scripty layer, and again, I want to make sure that the bottom curve has the image, the cropped images from there. So I'm going to just put it from corner to corner here. Now it's not going to meet the whole way, so there's going to be a little edge on top, which is fine, and a little edge on the bottom. All right, so let's bring this out for the last time. I still have my my little dryer sheet there, and this one doesn't have as many holes to have to punch out, but I think it will still work just as fine. All right, so I'm just trying to center it the best I can. We'll just give it a little snip on the edge when it comes back out. Okay. Oopsie. All right, and then let's pull pull this out and get my, all right, so I don't need this top piece. Let me take my dryer sheet off, which is pulling out most of them, which is a good thing. And then, yeah, pretty much all of them. All right, let's get rid of this guy. Not too much room here. And I'm just going to snip the edges. And this will go like that. So I can just snip this off here. And for this one, I think I'm going to come in this way because I want it to be flush with my piece, my white piece there. Okay. All right, so that's it. Let's do some layering. And let's see here. Yep, it all came out. So there's nothing to worry about there. There's a few little guys here that I can just punch out quickly with my paper piercer. You could use your, take your pick tool too. Okay, so we're good with that. So now we're just going to use this again to decide how much curve we want to put into our stamped image, which is going to be just the sentiment. So this one I wanted it to be just a simple birthday, and I'm taking the wishing you the happiest of birthdays, and this again is flexible, so we're going to just check it out first to see where we want to put it. And I think I want to leave room for my ribbon, so I'm just going to have it go here, and then I want this to dip a little, so let's see if we put this here, and I'm pressing and I'm pressing, and it's not sticking, but we want it to just be a little bit more curvy. So I kind of make it curvy. All right, good enough. All right. I just really wanted to go up a little more. All right, there you go, perfect. Whoops. Okay, at least now I know I have it all at the right curve. All right, now I can bring this in. Now I'm using the Sahara sand, which I am using for my backdrop there, my back layer. And we'll just stamp this right in with the curve. Give it a good press. And that came out nice. All right. And that is it. I also stamped a little tiny, one of those little birdies, and I'll show you how I'm going to just use a little bit of a pencil, watercolor pencil, and a blender pen, just to give that a little bit of color. I didn't want to make it too much color. I wanted it to be very soft and very pastel. Okay, so here's my scripty embossed layer. And let's put that on here. Okay. Whoops. All right, and this is going to go right on here, and then we can wrap the ribbon around it. Just a little bit there. Okay. Make sure the writing is right side up. And I'm going to put this flush right over the embossed layer. Okay. Now we're just going to wrap some of the crinkle ribbon around it. Make a little bow somewhere for the little birdie to sit. I want to make sure that it's not covering my sentiment, so I just want to bring it down a little bit. Give this guy a little tweaking. One side is way too big. Fix him up a little bit. And I think we can make him a little smaller. Okay. Trim, trim, trim. Okay. Now, so where's my bird? I just took this little guy and I used an Old Olive watercolor pencil and just put a little bit of green. I didn't want a whole lot. Just wanted the top part. And I wanted to make it a little darker than what you think, because the blender pen is going to blend it, and then it's going to get a little softer. See how that just got a little softer than what I had already put on. And that's it. Now I can pop this baby on with a dimensional, and I think he's can handle a big one. Okay, there we go. So he's just, oh, let's make sure this is straight. And actually, now let's put it on there. There you have a very simple and elegant birthday card with a little bit of added interest due to the curviness of it. Okay, those are the 4 card projects. I tried to use as many stamps as I could. I could go on and on, I'll tell you. These are the 4 that we just did. Birthday. Hooray for you, good for any kind of congratulations, or just to say hello and give a little praise. And our 2 Christmas projects, Merry and Bright and Merry Christmas. These are the 4 that we did. These are the 4 that I will have the measurements and onto the blog. Let me show you a few of the extra ones that I just kept going with. This one I love. This is adorable. I used that same floral image die that we used before, and I cropped out a little bit of just one of those little leaf sprigs, which was simple but beautiful. And this flower I did crop out from one of the dies from the Arrange a Wreath bundle, which was like almost my favorite. This is Seaside Spray. Thinking of you makes my day. I mean, how simple is that, and how pretty. This is another Christmas one. Same idea as the Hooray for You one. I used 1 piece of DSP, used 1 cropping, used 1 die to crop, and I got 2 adorable layers that I could make another Christmas card with. This one is one of my favorites, I think. It was, this is from the Flowers for Every Season pack. And I just started playing with it, and I just wanted to make this, so I used both. This is my favorite die, and I used both just to make it just a little bit of color to pop out, and then use the birthday image to crop it out, to just have my sentiment there. This is the Bumblebee color products. This is the gingham ribbon, the Bumblebee gingham ribbon, and I just cropped this frame out with one of the stitched rectangle dies. So that's it. These are all my projects, and I still have more ideas, so I still might keep going. But I wanted to share with you how easy it is once you just get the hang of it. And it's not hard at all, but just give yourself some time, a little bit of just time to just figure out how to use the dies. You'll be happy that you spent the time to figure it out, because it's adorable. And and being able to, manipulate those stamps, the images, was so much fun. That was That was a really good part of this. So again, November 3rd they come out, this bundle, and with these products that I just showed you today, and they will be in the January catalog, but you can get it starting November 3rd. So I'll have it all on my blog. I'll have measurements of the 4 cards that we did together today, and if you have any questions, just let me know. Please, if you are watching this on YouTube, give me a thumbs up or comment. Let me know how you think it went, if you've tried them. After November, if you've tried them, let me know how you did, and if you could share some projects, that would be even better. Be sure to subscribe to my blogs, to my YouTube channel, so that you don't miss our next video or the next Facebook Lives, which I usually do on Wednesday and get them uploaded to YouTube by Wednesday afternoon. Okay, thanks so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. I hope that you enjoyed it. Have a great day.